Making My Way by Dragoness Bahamut. There wasn't anything left to do in Indigo, so we teleported back to Pallet the next day. Ash, did I ever tell you how proud of you I am? Mom asked. Yeah, several times. Well, I'm proud of you, Ash, she said for the millionth time. Thanks. What are you gonna do now? Misty asked. Mr. Pokemon Master? She grinned at the last part. It took you less than 1,000,000 years, huh? She asked. What? Oh, yeah. What are you going to do? Billy said. I don't really... I know what you're gonna do, Mayo grinned. You're gonna help me become a master. I guess I could do that. Well, I'm sure all Ash wants is a break, Billy said. Would I ever? I guess I'll go home then, Mayo said quietly. I'll see you tomorrow, okay, Asha? Okay. Bye. With Eevee in her arms, Mayo left for her own house. I wonder when everyone else is gonna go home. Ash? Misty asked. She seemed like she was really thinking hard about something. Yeah? When are you gonna get me a new bike? Ugh. Ash, Brock began, I bet if you sold that badge... You must think I'm crazy if I'm gonna sell this! Brock chuckled nervously and backed off. Well, when you do scrape up the money, I'm expecting a bike ASAP. I mean, you can't expect me to follow you around forever. I can't. Now that she brought it up, I started to realize just how strange that would be. Of course not, she said, not looking at me. I mean, I have a life too, you know. What if I wanted to head back to Cerulean and turn that place into a real gym? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. What? Misty, you can't be serious, Billy exclaimed. Of course I'm serious, she said. Why wouldn't I be? But, Misty? Billy interrupted. Can I talk to you for a sec? I guess so. Why? Just come here. Billy dragged Misty into the next room. What are you doing? I asked. Don't worry about it, Ash, Billy told me. This is for girls only. She closed the door, and that was the end of that. I considered eavesdropping, but that would be rude. Right? I figured Brock would understand what was going on. Hey, Brock, do you have any idea what they're talking about? Well... Ash, don't worry about it, Mom said quickly. If they want to tell you, they'll tell you. Huh? Come on, you must be hungry. Okay. I made a mental note to myself. Mom knows my weak point. After lunch, I was called into the living room by Richie. He and Brock were watching TV. What's going on? I asked. Shh, just watch. Richie hushed me. I watched. It looked like a news report. The Indigo League has a new champion, the announcer was saying. His name is Ash Ketchum from Pallet Town. The Elite Four have requested that we keep the details about his last 3 battles private, and we may not be able to interview this young miracle, but we can show you clips from his battle against Lorelei. Here it is, folks! Just my first battle? I wonder... Oh, that was the only one I fought as a human. It cut to an intense battle scene between Taper and Slowbro, then to another battle between Charizard and Lapras. Charizard wasn't doing too well. This is weird. It's like I'm watching a completely different battle. Then they showed me and Pikachu. I felt myself turn red, and tried to hide myself and still watch at the same time. I looked like I was really into the battle. I had my jaw clenched and my fists all balled up. I wasn't saying anything though, which was kind of weird. Is that really what I look like when I'm battling? I couldn't really believe that that person on TV was me. I shut my eyes so I wouldn't have to watch. Why does it seem so strange? I couldn't think of any reasons, unless... Is it because I was a human? I gradually realized that had to be it. I look weird because I'm human? I looked up again. They were showing a side view of the battle now. I just looked like a small figure on the side. Charizard had just fainted, and I was calling it back. I can't watch this. I turned and left without a word. Ash? Said Pikachu. I went to my room and closed the door. I sat down on my bed, trying to figure out what was wrong. I took off my amulet and looped it around my bedpost. A Pokemon can't be a Pokemon Master. It's just pointless, right? Isn't that what everyone was trying to tell me? And Nakiro's been right so many other times. What am I saying? Nakiro may have been right, but I was right too. That's right. I don't need Nakiro to come and tell me what to do. I'm just fine on my own. I hope I'm right. The door pushed open, and a familiar feline face walked through and closed with its tail. Huh? It asked. What's the matter, Ash? Huh? Oh, nothing, really. Persian glanced at my badge and back at me. Oh, really? Why'd you take off your badge? I don't know, I shrugged. I just wanted to look at it, I guess. Okay. Persian jumped and sat next to me. I could see the badge's reflection in its eyes. It's a very pretty badge. You're lucky to have it. Yeah, really lucky. Oh, I see. You don't think you've earned it, do you, Ash? I don't know. I didn't beat Lance, so why would I have earned this thing? There's more to being a Pokemon master than just winning battles. You of all people should know that. I guess you're right. I picked it up by the chain again, but I didn't put it on. It's just that I already earned so many gym badges out of pity. I don't want to earn my champion's badge that way too. Pity? Ash, if you think you earned that badge out of pity, then maybe you really don't deserve it. They gave it to you because they felt you earned it. You really are a good trainer, whether you believe it or not. Thanks, Persian. You don't need to thank me for just telling you the truth. Thanks anyway, Persian. Persian groaned and rolled his eyes. I visited the Oak residence later that day. Mayo had asked for help with training, and I didn't feel like sitting around all day. It seemed like the perfect thing to do. What do you guys think Mayo's going to evolve Eevee into? I asked on the way. I don't know, said Pikachu. Why? Just wondering. Probably an Espeon, said Persian. If she ever figures out how. I laughed. Do you think she'll figure it out? Not likely, in which case she'll probably evolve it into a Jolteon. Pikachu nodded. Seems like she likes electric types. Yeah, I wonder why. You mean you don't know? It's a little obvious, Ash. I stopped walking. It is? When Persian realized I'd stopped, he sat down in front of me. He seemed to be debating whether or not to tell me something. Ash, she admires you. Huh? Wait, let me finish, Persian said quickly. She wants to be just like you. Are you serious? Are you? What's that supposed to mean? I thought it was obvious. That's crazy. That's just a crazy idea. I continued walking past Persian. He watched me for a second, then trotted after me. You really didn't notice, he said in wonderment. Okay, maybe I noticed a little. Ha! Maybe you're not all that dense. Don't even go there. Persian purred to himself, and I realized it was a strange kind of laughter. It didn't take too much longer to get to their house. I knocked on the door and waited for someone to open. It creaked open, and a spiky-haired boy with brown hair and a purple shirt stood up on the other side. Both of us halted. I don't think either of us knew quite what to say. Gary backed up a few steps. May, your friend's here, he muttered the last sentence. Gary, wait, I said before he could run off again. I'm gonna help May, train her Eevee, and her Rattata too. Maybe you'd like to help? I don't think he thought I was serious. He looked away. I'm terribly sorry, Ashy boy, but I've got more important things to do. Like what? What's more important than helping your sister? He stared at me for a moment, then looked past me. She may be my sister, but that doesn't make us friends. He started to walk out the door and go somewhere else. Gary, he stopped again. Ash, just tell me what you want right now, and let's get this over with. Well, He crossed his arms and gave me his most impatient look. What do I want? Why is this so important all of a sudden? Gary, I want to know why you hate me, I blurted out finally. That wasn't what he was expecting. He couldn't come up with an answer. What did I just do? I turned away and started to let myself into his house. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. You can go now if you want. I'm sorry I kept you. I stepped inside, then moved to close the door behind me, but Persian was still out there. Persian, come... Huh? Persian had a sly grin on his face. Not too far away, Gary was looking back at me with a stunned look. He still hadn't moved. Gary? He sort of shook himself, as if he had just woken up or something. Are you okay? I asked. I'm okay, he replied. Gary turned around and waved casually. I'll smell you later, Ashy boy. He started to walk away. I guess I shouldn't try to make him stay. I closed the door and turned around. Pikachu jumped off my shoulder and smiled at me. No! Eevee! Eevee jumped in between my Pokemon and smiled at all of us. I laughed. Mayo, where are you? Mayo stepped out from a close-by doorway looking embarrassed. I gave her a serious look. Were you spying on us? I asked. She shook her head vigorously. I didn't change my look, and she eventually nodded regretfully. I laughed evilly. You do know what happens to spies? I asked, giving her my scariest smile. She shook her head. A scared Eevee jumped into her arms, mirroring its trainer's expression. "Well," I continued, "little girls get maimed by ferocious wild Persians." Persian picked up the cue and growled at the two of them. "And nosy little Eevees get eaten by vicious electric mice. Pika! Now go and exterminate those villains." The two of them leapt, and after a brief struggle, Mayo and Eevee were tackled to the ground and mauled fiercely by my Pokemon. I stepped forward to watch more closely and laughed as Mayo and Eevee cried out fearfully. I snapped my fingers, and my two Pokemon backed off. Mayo and Eevee stared up at me with wide eyes. "Now it's my turn. You now face the ultimate punishment." "No! Anything but that!" Mayo cried. I lunged at her. "The tickle treatment!" "Ah! Hey, come on, you two!" I called to Pikachu and Persian. It didn't take long for them to join in. When I decided that the two crooks had had enough, I lit them up and therefore ended my torture session. Mayo had tears in her eyes from laughter. "You're so cruel, Ashra," she said between laughs. I guess they were still feeling the effects. I grinned. "Oh yeah? That was nothing. I came here to help you guys train, you know." Mayo was still laughing. "Oh yeah, I heard." I raised an eyebrow. "The criminal is confessing." She broke up into real laughter. "And the great Pokemon Master is going to punish her by making her endure hours of rigorous training." She laughed sadly. I stood up. "That's right. No pain, no gain." I helped her up. "So what did I gain from all that?" she asked. Nothing." She laughed. "That's so typical of you." I shrugged. "Let's go outside. It's hard to train in a house." "Yeah, I figured."